All right, Bucs fans, Jon Ledyard, PewterReport.com here with you and back in the Bucs All-22 film room to take a look at Tom Brady against the Saints. There's so much talk of the Saints, the team that solved Brady. What happened in this Sunday night game? How does the highest scoring offense in the NFL get held to 0 points in any game? And the Saints defense, obviously a good unit, but the Bucs being held off the scoreboard was a stunner. Don't know if we've ever really seen that happen with the highest scoring offense in the league at that point in the regular season get shut out that late into the regular season. That seems highly unusual to me. That would be one to look up if there's a way to fact check that one. But a lot of things went wrong in this game, and none of them were Tom Brady, in my opinion. I've watched the tape through actually twice now, the All-22, then watched it live, rewatched part of the broadcast tape. So I've really poured over this one, and I've asked a lot of people, that I trust. Paul Atwell, obviously, Pewter Report being one of them, and we've kind of gone through a lot of this together. And it's hard to blame Brady for more than a couple play. I mean, maybe one or two plays before the end of the fourth quarter, really, when obviously everything was going to hell. So I'll show you what I mean. Obviously, I know that anytime you do this, and last week I made a video showing how Brady messed things up in the second half, and was a part of the reason why that game went to overtime against the Bills. So I've been critical of him. Some people aren't going to see it that way. They're only going to see, how do you not blame Brady when this has happened against the Saints before? Well, I'll talk about that some on the show too. But I just say what the tape tells me, and the tape tells me that it's really hard to blame Brady for this performance. And I'm going to do my best to show y'all with a bunch of cuts today. I've taken a huge sample size of plays so that you get a great idea that hopefully you can trust me on. Not every play's in here, but this is generally what the game looked like, and I tried to use as many examples as I could so that I could convince y'all that I'm telling you the truth here. So let's go. Let's start with protection. Protection was a huge issue in the first half. Second half, it was not a big issue. They got some things sorted out. But first half, it was an issue. It wasn't so much scheme either. It was a lot of guys losing one-on-one. And this was the second, third down of the game, I believe. People will tell you sacks are on a quarterback, and let me do this and just run through the play first so y'all can see the play. People will tell you sacks are on a quarterback, but they aren't when they happen this fast. That's just not a thing. Alex Kappa just gets immediately beat by Cam Jordan. That's like an instant sack. Brady sees him, he's on. There's no chance for a play to develop there. That's immediate. So, again, that kind of pressure will kill you, right? And here's the next sack of the game. I think this one's, I believe, on Tristan Wirfs. And I'll show you, Brady could have had a play here too, and he wants it. You can see him pump there. He wants the play. Look. Check out here on the screen, I think it is, right over here, Scotty Miller. And Brady seeing this, right? Two high safeties at the snap. So he knows Scotty has this vertical route. He's running this post over here. And he knows Scotty's probably going to get taken away on this play unless his safety buzzes down. So he's looking here, and he sees this safety buzz down on Gronkowski's out route. So he knows he could get Miller in behind here. He just has to wait a second, wait for him to clear. But already, Cam Jordan is reaching out right here. He's already beaten Wirfs. And Brady wants to throw it, but he's afraid he's going to get strip sacked. And so he pulls the ball down, and Jordan grabs on his leg, and he wants to throw that post to Scotty, and he's just not able to. It would have been a tough throw, I think, but still could have fit it in there. He was going to gun for it. You can see Scotty breaking up, throwing up his hand here. He's got a little bit of separation. I mean, Stevie can still undercut. It's going to have to be a great throw. But this safety's playing on this hash. He's far enough off that Brady could fit this in there, and he was going to go for it. Just no way to do it with Cam Jordan beating Tristan Wirfs immediately on that play. So that's an example, right? When you're thinking back over the game, man, they didn't score any points. This one could have been a touchdown with Brady's arm, in a clear pathway like that. This one could have been a touchdown right here, and it didn't happen because of pressure. So why didn't they score? How didn't they get in the red zone? Well, they don't need to if they can score from outside it. Right there, they were right outside of it. Just couldn't make it happen because of pressure. And here's another example, the third sack of the game. I believe this one also in the first half. Some edge pressure, but Donovan Smith does a good job throwing that guy free. Now you can see these guys are breaking through here. They run a game with their defensive tackles, and they're breaking through right here. And Brady tries to get out of the side of the pocket, which is a good idea. Also note, please, on this play that nobody is open. Watch the receivers on this play. I'll run through it and just watch the receivers on this play. Nobody's open. So Brady has to hold the ball. He has to get out of the pocket to try to create something. So when he can get out of the pocket, his angles can change, and maybe he can find somebody. He's got his eye on Scotty Miller here. He does a good job on this pivot route of actually getting separation. You can see locked up. Fournette now but he's got this defender over Tom Brady. Can't throw that here. That's a pick. Safety's over the top of this one, but Lattimore's in great position anyway. There's nowhere to go with this football. He has to get out of this pocket, and there's immediate pressure. So he has to get out of this pocket to try and change this platform. to make a throw to Miller, and as he does that, he gets hauled down from behind. Yeah, he's not fleet of foot. If you want to blame him for that, okay, but that's what I'm talking about when I say like problems. You're looking for the root cause. It's just really hard to blame Brady for that in the first half. He was sacked 3 times, and he's 16 of 23 passing, and there were like 4 drops in the first half. I mean, it's hard to know what you want more of a quarterback in those situations. Here's a Let's see, this one might be, so the pressure I mentioned, okay, so the offensive line's getting beat. This plays from the first half as well. Offensive line's getting beat. Oh, well, Brady got sacked 3 times. Can Brady still make throws even though there's pressure? Like, is that, he got sacked 3 times early in the game. Is that rattle him? It really didn't rattle him. Like, at the end of the game, Brady was definitely pissed off and, like, didn't care. He cared about winning, but he was gunning the ball, and, like, the pick was just a frustration play. Like, obviously knew it wasn't going to happen. Just, there was some frustration at the very end of the game when they're down 9-0. The last 2 drives maybe, or that drive really just. But that wasn't the root cause of why they ended up where they ended up. If you watch pressure on this play, Donovan Smith gets beaten. Marcus Davenport just quickly kind of knocks him down, wins it inside. Bad rep from Smith. Brady under pressure, off his platform, falling away, throws a perfect ball to Cam Brate. Goes right through his hands, but it doesn't get much better than this. I mean, these guys are winning up front right here, and obviously Smith gets thrown into Marpet's legs there, so that takes Marpet out. But this is an immediate win by Davenport. Again, right in the face of Brady. Brady has to slide and throw while falling off his platform. And he throws, I mean, the ball doesn't get much better than that. It's literally right. I mean, this is an elite throw. And obviously it's a tough catch, but this is Cam Brate. Like, this is what he does. He's strong hands, and he's supposed to make this catch. Like, you need those plays to be made, and they weren't made in this game. And so, yeah, it's frustrating. But, again, is it on Brady? That's a hard one. Here's another one. Brady under pressure, interior offensive line breaks down. Onyemata beats Marpet. He throws quickly to Scotty Miller on 3rd down for a first down. A couple things to note on this play. This is a completion, but it's still not all good. Marpet gets beat by Onyemata right away. Marpet wasn't that bad in this game, but this is an ugly rep here. I don't want to slander him. He played pretty well, but this was the one real bad rep from Marpet. So he gets beat right away. Brady pressure in his face, pressure off the edge. Smith has given up too much space on this edge consistently, and he throws. Now, Scotty Miller is running around here, right? And he's open, but it's zone coverage. So Scotty Miller's got to sit down in this area, and he doesn't sit down. And so because of that, he's on the move, and the ball looks like it's behind him when Brady throws it. Well, he's got to sit down in the space, not keep moving here. So because he doesn't do that, that ends up making a tougher catch. Now, he makes the catch to his credit. But again, route running mistakes, that was common in this game. Guys got to recognize coverages in the middle of the field. Chris Godwin's so good at that. Other guys didn't step up and do that. It was a problem in this one for sure. All right, let's let this next play run here. This is going to be Brady going back to pass and throwing to Cam Brate. This was on a 2nd and short. Again, throws just don't get much better than this, okay? So when pressure's not an issue here, clean pocket, on 2nd and short, they're in Saints territory, new set of downs right here at the Saints 34-yard line. This is probably a points drive if Brate makes that catch. 34, you're talking about 51-yard field goal if they don't gain another yard with a new set of downs. So Brate makes this catch, 2nd and short, it's a new set of downs. I mean, the ball is perfectly placed. It's tight window. Again, look at the defender. I mean, there's nowhere to throw that ball. That was all game. Brady had to throw into these windows all game because nobody could get separation. It's right in Brate's hands, and he just drops it. And that's just, I mean, I don't know how you have to look at the receivers first. This is one of the phenomenons of covering sports is that when something goes wrong, people automatically look at the best players to apply blame. Usually the worst players are to blame when things go wrong. I know that's crazy, but when an offense puts up 0 points that normally puts up 31 points, it doesn't make sense to look at the guy who's been first, who's been the biggest catalyst in getting them to 31 points. It makes sense to look at the guys who haven't played on offense all season that were out there, right? Like, that's just logic. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way for most people for some reason. So there's a huge drop. That was also in the first half. Again, a lot of this terrible play was in the first half here. Now, here's Brady. This one's to O.J. Howard, play action. They're trying to get O.J. Howard on this route, going across the middle of the field here. It's actually a really good throw. Howard doesn't come out of the break with much speed. You could definitely argue he was interfered with here. Howard wanted a call. There's contact. It's early. This ball is right in stride to hit Howard so he can keep moving. He gets slowed up a little bit there. Also, I wish he'd just go with 2 hands. Maybe it's going to be a tough combat catch. Maybe this arm's getting held down. You can't really tell. It should have been a flag for sure. They wanted a flag, obviously. It's frustrating they don't get one. But again, that's a great throw by Brady. It's a great, he's again about to get hit here. Kappa gets beat again. He's about to get hit. He throws a perfect strike in stride. I mean, it's all like, that's a great throw. Under pressure, falling away. Like, it's just, these are really good quarterback plays. These are high degree of difficulty, hard quarterback plays into tight windows. And he's making it happen. So it's frustrating when you read people's talking about how trash he played. And it's just not true when you watch tape. I trashed him last week when he had a bad second half. I go back and watch that video if you want to say I do it. It just wasn't true in this game. He didn't really have any bad throws to the last couple minutes of the game when he was just pissed off, I think. And so here's another one. We'll go through. We're going to talk about the running backs too in a second here. But first, just Gronkowski while we're on the tight end theme. I mean, maybe the worst game of his career. Wide open middle of the field, just a straight up drop. Again, this one's you're going to be you're going to be a new set of downs right outside midfield. Like this is again first half. These are the reasons why you score 0 points. Like you can't drop 7 balls like they did in this game and have a bunch of other catchable opportunities go off guys' hands or go off their fingertips or guys don't make plays. Have this many route running mistakes. You're just not gonna win games this way. Here's Gronkowski on the wheel route. This would have been a touchdown, straight up. Gronkowski runs by Malcolm Jenkins. I don't know how he's not ready for this ball. I mean, he's clearly the read on this play. Brady's reading out the post wheel. Safety is coming over, but he's way late coming over. Brady's clearly not open here. Gronkowski's right. It just goes right through his hands. His hands are up late. I don't know how you make that mistake when you've played as long as Gronkowski has. I would love to hear him talk about this play, but I've seen this route combination 100 times. I've seen the Bucs run it. I mean, he's looking up. Did he just lose the ball in the lights? It must have been. I don't know. But either way, he's here. So he probably doesn't get into the end zone if he catches it clean. But he's inside the 5 probably. Like, he might have been it's probably a touchdown for them on the next couple plays given their red zone efficiency. And so, yeah, it's a huge play in the game, that you don't end up scoring any points on that drive. It's another example of a play that it was probably a score. And again, you weren't going to score 30 points in this game, but you could have scored 17 and won the game. And that's the situation. I mean, there's 2. I've showed you 2 should-be touchdowns on possessions, and then you obviously know about Succop's missed field goal. So here's Brady again to Gronkowski. This one I felt like was a little bit of a tougher catch maybe. Lattimore makes a really good break on the ball. They're having Gronkowski do some things I think some of their wideouts would do here normally in these routes. You don't see Gronk run that route against man coverage or by a corner very often. But again, Gronkowski, be big, come back to the ball here, make this catch. The ball, the broadcast replay actually showed the ball hit his hands before Lattimore hits it. And you can kind of see that here. Ball's hitting his hands, then Lattimore played through his hands. Good play by Lattimore. But again, if you're Gronk, work back to the ball, use that huge body as a shield, and make a play there for your quarterback. So to my mind, that's 3 drops for him in this game. And then you'll see this one, catchable ball. This is another example of Brady making the right read, the right throw, and Demario Davis is just making an insane play. This doesn't even make sense. What are we doing? How does he tip that ball? This is crazy. He's breaking on the route in front of him here. He's driving on this Scotty Miller route because he thinks Brady's going to throw it. He stops, leaps in midair, and somehow gets a fingertip on this ball. I mean, just an unbelievable instinctive play. Gronk still gets a hand on it, actually pulls it in, but you can see, look at his eyes. Takes his eyes off the ball, looks at the hit that's coming, and drops it as a result. Can't hang on to it. If he had secured that ball, I think he still could have had it. Obviously, it's not. I wouldn't count it as a drop because that's a really hard catch, but I think he had it because he kind of palmed it in the air. Just couldn't bring it in because he took his eyes off what he was doing. So again, it's a right play by Brady. It's the right throw by Brady. Davis just makes an unbelievable play to affect the throw, and Gronk can't make the tough catch. And here's Brady again. Now here's where we get to the running back stuff. Some of these are completions, but they're just not good stuff. So Brady's frustrated on this play. You can see, watch Brady's body language after Rojo makes this catch and then decides to go out of bounds. Watch Brady at the top of the screen, throws up his hands. What is he doing? Because this is this is a simple play, right? You're going to this marker, it's second down, you can pick up a first down, a new set of downs, and not get to third down. Yeah, they're in pursuit here, I get that, but you can just come up into this space, and instead, look, he's chopping his feet, he's stopping, he's slowing down, and he's going out of bounds. Just accelerate, stop looking at these guys, just run through here and then get out of bounds. That's all you have to do. The end zone view is even worse. Here's the end zone view of it. Brady throwing out in the flat to Rojo. And look at all the space you have out here. Why are you stopping and squaring back up to a defender here in the middle of the field? Just low IQ stuff. Shuffle the feet, juke to the just run. And that's the basic stuff, and he doesn't do it well. And here's Brady again. Pressure's coming. Got to get the ball out quick. Rojo makes the first guy miss. That's great. Okay, look. You're already pointed in this direction. Look at all the green grass. Run over here. The first down marker is here. Like, it's not, you're making it harder than it needs to be in this situation. First down marker's over here, sorry. You're making it harder than it needs to be in this situation. And instead, he is going to turn his whole body, chop his feet again like he's trying to juke somebody out, and then dive to the ground. That's just not good football, man. Like, in the open field, like, this is just not a good decision. Run to that space. Turns his whole body and falls on the ground. Barely even touched on that play. So you can't run through contact there either. Okay, now let's see what Keyshawn Vaughn can do then. Okay. All right, well, okay. Well, that's how it's going to be then. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's give Keyshawn Vaughn another shot. What? Nope. You can't even walk? Can't stand up? Okay, cool. All right, what else do we have at running back? Well, Giovanni Bernard's hurt. Leonard Fournette's hurt. We don't have anything else at running back. All right, cool. So those are your guys. That's who you have to play with, and that's what they're giving you in the passing game. I mean, it's just tough. Like, those should have been plays. There should have been new sets of downs. Instead, neither of them were. That second Rojo one I showed you, they end up hand off to Keyshawn Vaughn on the next play because Rojo was gassed after that play. So he comes out, they hand to Keyshawn Vaughn, and he gets stuffed. Then there was nothing Vaughn could have done. Jenkins ran through the safety. There's nothing he could have done. He got stuffed on that play. Then they punted. They shouldn't have punted. That was on Arians. But again, you never get to those points if guys just make simple open field plays as receivers, and the talent just wasn't there for them. Here's Brady under his own end zone, looking for an easy completion to get out from the shadow of his own end zone. Actually, a decent route by Tyler Johnson against the linebacker. Just straight up drops the football. That's a manageable second down situation after that. Here's Brady back to pass, trying to get Jalen Darden down here, bottom of the screen. What is this route? Like, are you letting the DB get position on you? Like, I don't even understand what this route is. Like, this is so bad. And Darden has barely played this year. He's a rookie. Lattimore's a Pro Bowl player. I get the difference. And I'm not criticizing Darden for the whole game. It was a tough situation for him. He's supposed to be this team's 7th, 8th receiver going into the year. He's out here because of injuries and all that stuff. I get it. And it's a tough spot for him. But this is just a vertical route. Like, this is one of those routes at his position on this team, the position he practices at. He's running this route all the time. And even from this alignment, like, why would you go back inside here? You have all this space. He's trying to get you to run by a guy in this space, and he slows up. He looks back at the ball way too early. Then he turns into a spectator. He gets all the way inside of Lattimore. It's just a bizarre play. The ball's landing here outside of Lattimore. If Darden keeps running outside, I don't know what's going to happen. Lattimore's a good corner. He's good coverage here. I just don't understand, like, how you run that route. It's just a really bad route, even for a rookie. That's just a bad play. And then you've got Brady here throwing out in the flat to Chris Godwin. This is the beginning of the game, just talking about Tyler Johnson some again. Bruce Arians mentioned on Bucs Total Access his blocking needs to be way better. Here's a great example. He's right here in the slot. I mean, just not matching the intensity or physicality of the players across from you. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just runs right through him, he's not even there. And so that was a really bad play by him. Then this is the beginning of the game. Brady's trying to throw this slant to Tyler Johnson, and this is the one that was almost picked. Well, here's why Brady's throwing this slant. I talked to Paul Atwell about this one too. Lattimore's out here playing outside technique, so he's got outside shade on the receiver. Johnson needs to be able to win inside on this route. Like, Brady knows it pre-snap that this is where he should go with the football based on the corner's alignment. Even if it's incomplete and Johnson can't win as much as he should, this should never have a chance at being intercepted. Johnson has to get his body into this space on the slant route. But watch this release. It's just terrible. The release is just so bad. He doesn't make any quick moves. He actually gets vertical off the release. Watch this. He's making the side-to-side chop. Then he takes another step into Lattimore's space rather than taking advantage of the space. Lattimore plays it great. Don't get me wrong. But it's just a terrible release. Like, this is not, you make the side-to-side movement, then you cut and break things off and get that arm, his left arm, over here, swim this, basically. Knock down this arm, get his contact off you, get inside of him, and you make a contested catch or it's incomplete. And that's it. And you live to fight another down, whatever. But this is just terrible technique from a receiver. And he allows, look at this. I mean, he's literally running the route with you, dude. I mean, that was all game with Tyler Johnson. And Bruce Arians said it after the game. He said it on Bucs Total Access. He said, Tyler Johnson just got covered one-on-one way too much in this game. Like, he's got to do a better job of getting open. I think they're learning some limitations for Tyler Johnson, but, I mean, I probably showed you 20-some plays there of the passing offense, and they had 55 dropbacks, so there's a lot of them, but I didn't show you most of Brady's completions. I didn't show you his best throws in the game, really, or the best throws that were completed. And so you're going to have to tell me, like, Go through and find it. You can get access to tape too. Go through and find it and tell me outside of that pick late in the game. I mean, look at the factors the first 3 quarters and tell me that Tom Brady was the problem, because I don't see it at all. I think he played a great game. And by the way, he played a great game when they played New Orleans the first time around too. Yes, he threw a pick at the end of the game that was unfortunate, but first pick of the game, not his fault at all. Like, that should have been a penalty. Bruce Arians said that should have been a penalty after. It's obvious it should have been a penalty. Both receivers were held on that play. Not his fault. That would have been a scoring drive. Evans gets interfered with down the sideline by Lattimore. That should have been a touchdown on one of the first drives of the game. Instead, that was no points. This is in the first matchup I'm talking about. Brady threw for 375 yards and 4 touchdowns in that first game against the Saints. He's not confused by what the Saints defense is doing. They are playing man coverage, and he's beating man coverage with a lot of these throws, and guys are not making plays in this game. In the last game, they made plays. Godwin had a huge game with 130 yards. Evans got open deep a bunch of times, and they finally connected for the long touchdown. He was beating Lattimore all game. There's just very little to knock Brady about, in my opinion, in either of the losses to the Saints. Yeah, the first one was a dogfight defense, but committed tons of penalties and gave up way too much to Trevor Siemian. You should absolutely be able to hold a 27-24 late lead or whatever it was. That's why they lost, not because of Tom Brady. I don't think Tom Brady's played his best football over the last few weeks necessarily. He's played fine, but he just wasn't the problem in this game, and anybody trying to tell you that I don't think they've watched the tape or understand what they're seeing. I think they're going off box score and past results against the Saints, including last year, which is not this year, and it's looked way different from a Leftwich and Brady perspective this year than it did last year, even if the results, unfortunately, ended up being the same. Bucs got to get better play out of these skill position players, especially the depth guys, especially down Chris Godwin now. We'll see about Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Giovanni Bernard, those guys out. They got to get better play from those guys. It hasn't happened yet. It's the biggest reason why they lost this game, and the offensive lines got to play better too. If those two things don't improve, they could absolutely lose to the Panthers if they don't get better. So appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you hit like on this video, please. If you can, hit like on it and subscribe to Pewter Report TV. We do this kind of stuff every week, and we do lots of podcasts as well, as y'all know. Most of you know anyway. Post-game podcasts, live in-game streams, all that. So appreciate everybody watching, and we'll get back to you on another one of these All-22 breakdowns very soon. Thanks.